the New Age, Gnostics or neo-Gnostics, the more I began to research this topic, the more I began to finally grasp what Tom Horn, Russ Dizdar have been talking about for the last several years. Because a lot of these technical advances that are being pushed, and with some pretty heavy investors behind it, aren't just to facilitate faster communications and global commerce. There is a theological, a spiritual component to this. The goal is, in fact, apotheosis. The old lie. In fact, the oldest lie. Ye shall be as gods. The role of science and technology in all of this? Well, the belief that science will somehow overcome all of our problems, will cure aging so that we can live forever, is at its root Luciferian. It is based on what our friends Paul and Philip Collins would say, call an anthropocentric soteriology, meaning salvation through our own works. We become the instruments of our salvation. It is based on the neo-Gnostic myth of Darwinism, that matter somehow willed itself into existence, and since that point, every day, in every way, we're getting better and better, until we suddenly reach that point, the singularity, in which we become as gods. Technology may facilitate this apotheosis by transcending the limits of human biology. And Tom Horn will talk about this a little more later today. For techno-Gnostics, the singularity, which is essentially the point at which we achieve the means to amplify human intelligence or create artificial intelligence. This research is ongoing and well-funded, even though its proponents admit it's not really clear whether this is a good thing. You see, in practical terms, if you believe in a Star Trek future, having a lieutenant commander Data on your team could really be a handy thing. That's a good return on investment. He's really, really smart, smarter than a human, and can come up with the answers you need pretty quickly. However, Star Trek also suggested a potential downside to creating a transhuman life form that's a lot smarter than us.
I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile. Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us.
That scene still creeps me out 20 years later. Now, back to Peter Thiel, real world. Peter Thiel, billionaire, co-founder of PayPal, early investor in Facebook, co-founder of the Singularity Summit. His Thiel Foundation defends and promotes freedom in all its dimensions, political, personal, and economic. He's also supporting research to cure aging, as though getting older is a disease that needs a cure. The other co-founder of this Singularity Summit is Dr. Raymond Kurzweil. He's the author of a book called The Singularity is Near When Humans Transcend Biology. From the website for the book, the singularity is an era in which our intelligence will become increasingly non-biological. Our intelligence will become increasingly non-biological and trillions of times more powerful than it is today. The dawning of a new civilization that will enable us to transcend our biological limitations and amplify our creativity. Now, Kurzweil is also the founder of the Singularity University. This is basically a forum for entrepreneurs to meet with some of the leading lights in promising technologies, including genetics, robotics, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology, or the so-called GRIN technology that Tom Horn will be talking about later today. This is a well-funded institution. Oh, the whole idea that it's going to create artificial intelligence safely. I just bring back that image just to creep you out a little more. This is well-funded. The corporate founders of Singularity University include, surprise, Google, and Autodesk. Any engineers here that use CAD software, AutoCAD, Autodesk? They're behind the Singularity University as well. According to Kurzweil, the six epochs of evolution began with physics and chemistry, information held in subatomic particles and atoms. As evolution progressed, we moved to the second epoch, biology and DNA, information stored in DNA. Then we moved to brains, information stored in our neural patterns and transmitted verbally. The fourth epoch, the technology epoch, information stored in hardware and software, which is where we are today. The fifth epoch, the singularity, the merger of technology with human intelligence. I am Locutus of Borg. And here is the key to where this is headed. Epoch 6. The universe wakes up. This is what they're pushing toward. The cosmos becomes saturated, and all inanimate matter becomes substrates for computation. The universe becomes a sentient superintelligence of which we are all a part. Does this sound like Eastern mysticism to you? Cosmos is intelligent. God is all, and all are God. Ye shall be as gods. And we get there by technology. So, where does this lead? Well, first and foremost, to get there, I think this leads to alternate horn, the other horn of this dialectic bull, which is a move toward the same goal, essentially, by those who profess to be Christians. We would call dominionists, or kingdom now theology. Christian reconstructionists, perhaps, another term. The goal is the same, using the state as a means, as a tool to salvation. The goal, very much like the New Age movement, is to create heaven on earth, literally create heaven on earth. And by the way, when you discuss the New Age movement and these guys like Kurzweil or the Dominion movement, you find yourself using the word literally a lot. As in, no, they literally believe this. Literally, they believe that we need to reclaim the 7 mountains of culture, because until we retake dominion over planet Earth, Jesus will not return. In other words, we become the means of salvation because He's waiting for us to wield the sword for Him. Until we reclaim the worlds of business, government, family, religion, media, education, and entertainment, those 7 mountains, Jesus will not return. And interestingly, there's a new book just been published by leading ufologist Nick Redfern called Final Events. And I'm going to interview him in a couple of weeks. In this book, he discloses or reveals a think tank, rather secretive think tank inside the intelligence community, those guys who are gathering up all this data and analyzing it. They believe, this group, which calls itself the Collins Elite, that UFOs are demonic, manifestation of fallen angels. That's okay as far as it goes, but they believe the solution is to implement a Christian Reconstructionist government on the United States. In other words, we all must live according to the Old Testament laws to save our souls from Lucifer. Yeah, as if becoming Pharisees will save us from the enemy. But either way, technology, it's again not a stretch, it's speculation, but not too much, to imagine how this sort of technology, this surveillance under which we find ourselves might be used. Leading new apostle, one of the leading names among this movement, Rick Joyner, admitted as much. He posted to the Elijah List back in 2007 that this kingdom of God that these men and women are pushing toward may at first seem like totalitarianism, as the Lord will destroy the Antichrist spirit now dominating the world. Instead of taking away liberties and becoming more domineering, the kingdom of God will move from a point of necessary control while people are learning truth, integrity, honor, and how to make decisions. In other words, we make them slaves until they learn how to live right. Does that sound like the liberty promised by Jesus Christ? Free will But there is a significant and growing movement inside the hyper-charismatic wing of Christianity that believes this. And where does this lead? Oh, incidentally, I should point out that Joyner has formed his own political action committee called the Oak Initiative. They held their first conference 2 weekends ago. And according to their website and the agenda, their first order of business was to set up a Christian intelligence service because they need watchmen that they can trust. So where does this lead?